All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our weekly mentoring webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff going on, and I've got some really great news to share with you as far as getting ahead of sort of the economic environment that we're all involved in. But a couple of reminders, just real quick before we get started. Our platforms are virtual, always have been virtual, and we have the ability to not just run webinars for you guys like all of you guys have been doing, but we can hold the webinars from any location, anywhere, and we can invite any amount of people that we want. So if you don't have the platforms already, and if you don't know about them, you can definitely just reach out to us, and we can share with you the platforms. And of course, the go-to meetings that we do for joint work. We have 6 guys and gals, especially here, that are available to do joint work with you guys. So don't forget about them. This is a great opportunity, I think, to do 3-way conference calls with your clients. About 50% of the time we've been doing virtual meetings anyway. So moving to 80, 90, or even 100% of virtual meetings for us shouldn't be too much trouble. So our resources are here, and they're available for all you guys, and we wanted to remind you about all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about how to transition your practice from an in-person practice to a virtual practice. And all of our workshops that we had scheduled, the 20 a month or so that we have scheduled out of this office, mostly have been grounded. But we still have a few live workshops that people are still wanting to do. If they request it and we have the ability to facilitate that, obviously we're going to do that. But we are pretty much switching to a mostly virtual platform. So the first part of that virtual platform, which I think our team has done an amazing job on, congratulations to them, is shifting from our paper evaluation forms to online surveys. So driving traffic to the webinar, that's pretty easy. We all know how to do that. Sometimes it costs us money. Sometimes we can do it absolutely for free. So that's great. But the SurveyMonkey now, after the webinar, allows us to pre-qualify the people that attended the workshop and enables them to reach out to us to schedule those one-on-one follow-up meetings. So it's just like 7 or 8 very, very simple questions, and then obviously permission to contact. And we should, and we have been able to schedule just as many virtual meetings from the webinars as we were able to schedule before from the live meetings using the paper surveys. So we're really excited about the evolution of our practice that's going on, and how great the transition has been for all of us. So don't forget about the resources that are available. If you haven't used the webinars yet, or if you haven't done virtual meetings, if you haven't done joint work yet, please know that that stuff is available. And for you guys, I think it's the right time for all of us to do that. If you don't have the technology in your office, you don't need to have it. Right? So if you work with us, we have all the technology. All you need to be able to do is use your telephone. We'll do the rest. We'll do the presentations. We'll do the case prep. We'll help you close the cases. We'll do everything you need. All you literally need is a telephone, and then obviously you need a client. So that is really great. I'm going to go ahead and just shift gears real quick, talk a little bit about the market that's been going on. A lot of people have been reaching out and asking us about what's going on. We are at one of those sort of self-fulfilling prophecies right now, where there's so much stuff in the media going on that it's having the effect of a little panicking every day, buying and selling, mostly selling right now. Nobody knows where the bottom is. I don't think we're even supposed to talk about that kind of stuff. But we definitely want to just understand that the information that people are getting is not giving them any solutions. Right? So everything that's out there for people is just creating them to have doubt and to wonder, I guess, where the bottom is going to be, whether they should sell. And we don't want people being alone in these types of situations. We want them using us as a resource. So we have to remind them that we're here for them. And if it's new prospects or new people that we're reaching out to, I don't think there's a better time for us to start talking to those types of people. One of the most telling things that I've seen in years and years and years was this federal interest rate slash, where the interest rates are now down to almost nothing, and they didn't really have much of an impact on the marketplace. So when that happens, it really tells me that the marketplace is a very emotional place right now. It's not necessarily based upon fundamental financial information anymore. It's based upon very emotional things, and it's obviously been very, very unpredictable. So our job right now is to get information to the consumer. And the only way to do that, because everybody's at home right now, is to invite them to do our online classes. So that should be the low-hanging fruit for us. And I think through our nonprofit that we will be able to probably get you guys in front of more people because of what's going on now than through the traditional way that most people have been doing stuff in the past. So I think this is really, really good time for us. The virtual platforms that we've been using, some of it have been Facebook ads, some of it has been just driving traffic to different websites. I've got some really great information. You've seen this before, which is sort of what is on the table right now about what's going on with this kind of self-quarantining type of deal, and just a little bit of understanding why it's so important for everybody to not go out and commingle with a lot of other people, even if you're not sick. 100% for sure, this virus situation is going to reach some type of peak, and it's going to have a curve associated with it. And we are desperate to basically help shorten the peak on this curve. So, even though you guys may not be sick, and even though your clients may not be sick, a lot of people are not symptomatic, and so this virus has to run its course. And the less people that the virus is able to touch, the more shallow this curve is going to be. And what we're trying to really do is trying to not overload our healthcare system and have everybody get sick at the same time. So if everybody gets sick at the same time, there won't be enough healthcare available for everybody that's sick, and it's going to create a very, very terrible situation. So just so you guys know, I'm self-quarantining myself, even though I'm not sick and I'm not showing any symptoms. Most people are going to be telecommuting for many large companies, and I think eventually it may get to be everybody has a curfew and everybody has to remain in their homes. But until it gets to that point, or if it does get to that point, I would just suggest you guys do your part and try to self-quarantine as much as possible, especially and if you don't show any symptoms at all. We can't assume that you coming into contact with people may end up hurting us in the long run. So I thought this was a really cool thing. For those of you guys that are not familiar with it, we're trying to follow the model of other countries like China and Italy, obviously, who have been experiencing this curve to a much larger extent than we have. But we have a population right now that it's just barely starting to come into our country, even though we have thousands of people that have been touched by this. There are millions of people, that have the potential to be affected. So be aware of that. On the flip side of the market stuff, let's talk a little bit about the stock market. We have a really great new branding workshop that will be done probably by the close of business today. Everybody in our program, you're going to get access to that. We're calling it Stock Market Crashes for Dummies. There's going to be a lot of content on here and obviously a lot of disclosures that this is purely educational and we're not giving advice. But I think this is something that people will recognize, and I think they're going to attend this in droves. And so we can, in our office, we don't need to drive traffic because we have enough people in our database just to invite our existing clients and our existing prospects. The thousands and thousands of people in our database, I think, is totally enough for us. But if you do not have a big, robust database of existing clients, then you may have to use one of our social media platforms. And the social media platforms are very, very inexpensive compared to other forms. So we're talking like maybe $1,000 or less to run a workshop. And if you want to run a workshop, we actually have partners that do social media that will actually guarantee us a certain number of registrants. So I'm not going to quote you guys exactly, but I'm pretty sure we can guarantee somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 registrants per workshop. And because they're online, I actually believe that we'll have a much higher turnout. Every webinar that we've done in the past, we have a much higher percentage of people showing up that registered than we do in in-person type of workshops. It's just a higher number because I think it's easier for them to do it. I think our follow-up process, our reminder process, our confirmation process is also really, really good. So some of the content that we'll be talking about is not just the stock market crashes for dummies stuff. We also have a few minutes on the Secure Act that we've been adding to all of our workshops, as you guys probably already know. This has really given us a ton of opportunity to sell more life insurance, a ton of opportunity to take over retirement accounts and help manage people's retirement accounts, but also a ton of opportunity to talk about tax strategies. So just a quick reminder, which I'm going to go real quick and show you guys again. The online calculator for the charitable trust stuff is so easy. And I'm going to go ahead and just run through a scenario where, let's say you have a $500,000. If people are trying to exit their stock portfolios and they want to get rid of their holdings or want to reposition and stuff like that. Whoops. it's really, really easy for us to be able to do that. So let's do this. Beneficiary age, let's make it a 65-year-old. Let's say calculate. So just with a quick few calculations, I was able to do a trust calculation for $500,000. Just hold on one quick second. So $500,000 into a charitable trust, $25,000 of income, and $224,000 of tax deduction. And so this is an opportune time where, hey, maybe you lost some money in the stock market, but if we can save you a similar or if not a greater amount of money by creating some tax benefits for you, let's talk about how we might be able to do that for you. So this is sort of one of our transition opportunities. I think it's as great as ever. There's a triple tax benefit here for some people with the charitable trust program. Let me just go through real quick how the triple tax benefit works. Tax benefit number one, we can sell mutual funds, stocks, real estate, or whatever assets you want to put in here. We can sell it and avoid a capital gains tax event. So we might have a portfolio or real estate that we paid $200,000 or $300,000 for that's now worth $500. Yeah, it might have been worth $700 at the beginning of the year, but it's still worth $500. And if we sold it, we would have to pay a capital gain. Well, the charitable trust does not pay any capital gains taxes. It's free from any type of tax, really. So by putting the asset inside the charitable trust, you avoid that capital gains tax event. That's tax benefit number one. Tax benefit number two is the deduction that is created by putting money into the charitable trust. So a $224,000 tax deduction is created by putting money into the charitable trust. That's not an insignificant number. For almost anybody, that's a huge number. The reason why this is so cool right now is because you can Roth convert an account that's lost money. It's almost like a little blessing in disguise, a little silver lining, right? If we Roth convert something that just lost money, you're going to pay less tax than if you Roth converted it at the beginning of the year, right? And now, when the market does recover, all of our future growth will happen in a tax-free account. And that's what we want. We want to pay taxes on a smaller number and have our future growth happen in a tax-free account. It's a very simple concept, and clients will appreciate knowing this, and we have this in our workshops, and it's very, very useful. So it's a great time to do some Roth converting, but you got to Roth convert into something that can't go down in the market any further. Do any of you guys out there have any ideas of something you can Roth convert into that will protect people against future stock market losses? I think we all have a pretty good idea of what that looks like. So that's tax benefit number two. By the way, this tax benefit will allow you to Roth convert about $224,000. It's a dollar for dollar offset, okay, without having to pay the tax or potentially by offsetting that tax. The third tax benefit, which is a great one for some of us, is a lot of people I run into are giving money to their church, or they're tithing, or they're doing charitable gifting. So you can take the income coming from the trust and use that as your gifting or your tithe and get a third deduction on the same dollar. So that's 3 tax benefits on $1. I believe this is the right time, and I believe this is the right strategy to begin educating our people about if you haven't already done so. We can literally hold workshops just on charitable trusts, and I think you would get a ton of positive feedback on them. So again, this is just a reminder. I know most of you out there know these things, and I'm going to go ahead and just jump back into some more content. So Stock Market Crashes for Dummies, I've got a really beautiful white paper that was sent to us by one of our partners about understanding market corrections. It's an 8-page long piece that's really, really great. And then I've got another 8-page long piece about what to do in a down market. I've got another 4 or 5 really great resources like this that you can send with disclosures included, or you can do workshops on them. So I think this is as good a time as any to start talking to people about all the resources that we have available through our nonprofit. So if you guys have not been using our stuff now, or if you guys have been doing the live workshops and want to transition over, that is exactly what we're here for. Just like you're the resource and the financial Sherpa for your clients, we want to be the resource and the financial Sherpa for you guys. That's what we're here for. Please reach out to us and use all of those resources that are available. Everything we have, from the calculators to the models that we use, the online resources, they're all designed to do virtual meetings. So from the very beginning, since we started more than 12 years ago, we knew we were going virtual in the future anyway. So everything that we have is really geared towards going virtual and allowing you to do everything from the comfort of your living room with the clients in their home, everything from the presentations to the sales process to the marketing, the webinars, and even helping you close the business. It's all available for you guys. So that was a really quick 20 minutes, I know, but I wanted you guys to be able to understand I believe right now is the best opportunity for us to grow our practices better than we've ever had before. I think the public is ready to listen. I think we have access to them, and we can do it for very little to no money. So thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because I know you guys want to ask some questions. So I don't want to have to necessarily have all your questions recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And I just wish you guys good health, and I will talk to you guys all very soon. Thank you very much. This recording is being stopped. I'm going to unmute you all right now.